Ladies and gentlemen, there comes a time in every person's life when they must stand alone. Not because the world has abandoned them, but because success demands it. This is that time. You see, too often we wait for permission, support, or applause before we begin. And we think we need a team, a mentor, or perfect conditions. But let me tell you something that Napoleon Hill understood deeply. Success starts within. Victory begins in the mind. You don't need a crowd to get going. You don't need validation to rise. You don't need a partner to take the first step. You only need a decision that says, as I will no longer wait, I will no longer depend. I will win even if I must win alone. This is not loneliness. This is power, the power of self-reliance, the power to begin when no one is watching and to persist when no one is cheering. Napoleon Hill wrote, whatever the mind of man can conceive and believe, it can achieve. So what are you conceiving? What are you believing? Don't limit your destiny by waiting for someone to walk with you. Start the journey now, because when you start winning alone, you become unstoppable. You become magnetic. The world begins to notice and follow. But it begins with you, with your early mornings, with your quiet determination, with your invisible discipline, with your unwavering belief that you were born to rise. Greatness is not handed to you, it is earned in silence and proven in action. So today, don't wait, don't wish, don't ask. Start. Start winning, start rising, start winning alone. And watch how the world tries to catch up. Success begins with self-reliance. It is the foundation upon which all true achievement is built. Too often, people wait for external support, validation, or encouragement to begin pursuing their dreams. They think they need a mentor to guide them every step of the way, a friend to walk beside them, or a team to push them forward. But in reality, the most important push must come from within. Self-reliance means taking ownership of your life, your goals, and your actions. It means refusing to wait for others to get started and learning to trust your inner voice more than the noise around you. When you rely on yourself, you tap into a well of inner strength that many never discover. you, you stop making excuses. You stop blaming circumstances or other people. Instead, you take full responsibility. If you fail, you learn. If you fall, you rise. If you don't know how, you figure it out. This mindset separates those who wish from those who do. Self-reliance empowers you to act regardless of your situation. Whether people support you or doubt you, whether you're cheered on or ignored, you keep going because your drive comes from the inside, not from applause. Napoleon Hill, the legendary author of Think and Grow Rich, taught that success is born in the mind. What you believe about yourself ultimately shapes your reality. Self-reliance is a form of belief. It's the belief that you are capable, worthy, and strong enough to achieve what you set out to do, even if no one walks with you. This belief doesn't make the journey easy, but it makes it possible. It gives you the resilience to weather setbacks and the courage to keep going when results are slow. Self-reliance also builds confidence. Every time you solve a problem on your own, every time you show up without needing to be reminded, you send a message to yourself, I can do this. Over time, that message becomes your identity. You begin to see yourself not as someone waiting to be helped, but as someone who leads, who builds, who creates. Who creates. That kind of confidence can't be handed to you. It has to be earned. And it's earned through the quiet, consistent actions you take when no one is watching. The truth is, success rarely starts with a crowd. Most breakthroughs begin in solitude. In the early mornings, in the late nights, in the private moments where you choose discipline over comfort. You may feel alone at the beginning, but that solitude is your training ground. It's where your mindset is forged and your character is built. Eventually, the world will see the results of what you started alone, but it all begins with self-reliance, the quiet courage to believe in yourself, and the unshakable decision to act no matter what. A decision is more powerful than circumstance. This simple truth has shaped the lives of countless individuals who chose not to be defined by what was happening around them, but by what they resolved to do about it. Circumstances can be unfair, unpredictable, and even harsh. They can place you in difficult environments, surround you with doubt, or block your path with obstacles. But no matter how powerful those external forces may seem, they cannot match the strength of a committed decision. When you make a true decision, one that is firm, intentional, and backed by action, you are no longer a passive participant in life. You stop reacting and start directing. And start directing, that decision becomes your internal compass. It doesn't erase the challenges, but it changes your relationship with them. Where others see walls, you start looking for doors. Where others feel stuck, you find movement. A decision shifts the power from the outside world to within yourself. Napoleon Hill wrote, "Oh, one of the most common causes of failure is the habit of quitting when one is overtaken by temporary defeat." But a real decision eliminates the option to quit. It's not a wish or a hope. It's a commitment that says, "I will do this no matter what." That kind of resolve transforms the way you face your circumstances. Instead of being limited by them, you rise through them. Think of any great achievement in history. Every breakthrough, invention, or revolution. It didn't start with perfect conditions. It started with a person making a decision. Thomas Edison didn't wait for someone to give him ideal lab conditions. He decided to invent the light bulb and failed thousands of times before succeeding. Nelson Mandela didn't allow prison to defeat his vision of justice. His decision to fight for freedom was stronger than his 27 years of confinement. In both cases, and many others, the decision overpowered the circumstance. In our everyday lives, the same principle applies. You may be surrounded by negativity. You may lack resources. You may have been told you're not enough. But once you decide to change your life, to chase your goals, or to grow into your potential, things begin to shift. You develop clarity. You find energy. You attract opportunities because your mind is now aligned with your mission. People respond differently to someone who is sure of themselves. It's easy to let circumstances become excuses. It's easy to say, "I'll wait until things get better," or "I'll start when I have more support." But the truth is, circumstances rarely align on their own. You have to make the first move. And that move starts with a decision. The most successful people aren't the luckiest or the most privileged. They are the ones who made a decision and refused to let go. They decided to show up every day. They decided to work through the pain. They decided to believe in the outcome long before the world could see it. So no matter where you are right now, remember, your decision is your power. Use it boldly. Discipline in silence creates visible greatness. It is the quiet commitment to do the work when no one is watching, to build when no one is applauding, and to persist even when there is no immediate reward. In a world that often glorifies instant success and public validation, we forget that real greatness is not built in the spotlight. It is forged in solitude through consistent, disciplined action. When you practice discipline in silence, you are planting seeds in the dark. There may be no applause, no recognition, and no proof that what you are doing is working. Yet you continue because discipline is not about how you feel. It's about what you've decided. It's easy to be motivated when people are offering up. But true discipline is tested when you're alone, when the excitement fades, and when the results seem distant. That's when character is built. That's when you separate yourself from those who only act when it's convenient. Think about an athlete training before dawn, a writer working long after everyone else is asleep, or an entrepreneur grinding day after day without a single sale. These people are not chasing quick wins. They are building something deeper: self-respect, skill, endurance, and resilience. These are the foundations of greatness, and they're not loud. They don't demand attention, but over time they speak louder than any words ever could. Napoleon Hill believed in the power of persistence and inner discipline. He taught that success requires a definite chief aim and the will to stay the course, even when progress is invisible. The discipline to keep going, to train your mind, to sharpen your skills. These are the quiet acts that lead to extraordinary outcomes. You may not see the results today or even next month, but eventually they will become undeniable. And when that moment comes, when your results begin to speak for themselves, it may look like an overnight success to others, but you will know the truth. You will remember the early mornings, the lonely nights, the sacrifices you made when no one else understood. That visible greatness is just the public unveiling of years of private discipline. Silence is not weakness. It's strength under control. Going to control. Discipline in silence teaches you patience, focus, and emotional mastery. It removes the need for external validation and replaces it with an unshakable inner drive. When you no longer need praise to keep going, you become unstoppable. Your goals become non negotiable and your progress becomes inevitable. So embrace the silence, embrace the grind, keep showing up, keep doing the work no one sees because eventually they will see it. Greatness has no shortcuts and it does not shout. It whispers through your habits, your choices, and your quiet commitment to excellence. Let the world be loud. Let your discipline be louder through results. Because in the end, greatness is not declared. It is demonstrated, and it is discipline in silence that makes it visible. Your mind is your most powerful tool. Everything you achieve, create, or become starts first in your thoughts. The mind is the command center of your life. It determines how you interpret events, how you react to challenges, and how you pursue opportunities. What you think consistently shapes how you feel, how you act, and ultimately what you experience. Napoleon Hill emphasized this truth in his timeless principle. Whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve. This isn't just motivational fluff, it's a statement backed by reality. Every invention, every business, every work of art, every revolution began first as a thought. Someone, somewhere had an idea. And they believed in it strongly enough to pursue it until it became real. Your mind is where every dream is born, but it's also where every fear can take root. That's why mastering your mindset is the most important step towards success. If you feed your mind with doubt, limitation, and negativity, you will shrink your potential without even realizing it. But if you feed it with belief, clarity, and discipline, you will expand into the person you were meant to be. You don't need to have all the resources or know all the answers from the beginning. You just need the right mindset. A strong mind will find solutions. A focused mind will spot opportunities. A resilient mind will bounce back from failure. The world can give and take, but no one can control your thoughts unless you let them.